In this video we're looking at how you can make your own loops in GarageBand and share them with your students or with other people using the same loops in different projects. In this particular file that we're looking at the moment, it's the file that I used for the When Doves Cry arrangements that I wrote for a Year 8 project. As you can see at the top, I've simply copied in some original parts of the song, so I'll just solo this grand piano track here, and if I play it you'll recognise it as the When Doves Cry piano refrain. I've also spent some time transcribing the original drum beat from the Prince song with lots and lots of 1980s reverb on it. Now once you've actually made some sort of version of the original song, that's pretty much the hard work over. From there on I've made another 4 drum kits, as you can see in here, and I've done that simply by copying and pasting the original drum kit and making variations on it by recording, overdubbing extra drum beats or adding in extra sounds, but also principally by changing the sound of the drum kit. So I'll show you how I do that. If I click the little plus button at the bottom left, it says create a new software instrument. That's what I want because I'm using the different drum kits that come with GarageBand. It's added another grand piano track at the bottom, and I'm going to drag this up to where the other drum beats are so we can see them all together. And of course I don't actually want it to be a grand piano track, I want it to be a drum beat, so I can double click the little icon there if my software instrument browser isn't already open, and then over here I can click on drum kits and I can go to a kit for the particular style of drum beat I want to create, so say dance kit in this particular case. And so that's now reflected here in the track, and I can, if I just scroll up there, choose one of these kits that I've already created. Let's listen to what the pop kit sounds like on its own. That's a basic drum beat, and then just do the old copy, Command C, down to my dance kit, and Command V to paste it in there. And now let's solo this and see what it sounds like on that instrument. So as you can see, it already sounds quite different, and if I want to I can overdub over the top of that and create some more beats, maybe add some hi-hats by bringing up the musical typing keyboard and all the things you've seen probably in some of the other videos I've made. So I can create variations to that. Similarly, over here, if we look over to the right, this first section, these first 8 bars of the song, I've just concerned myself with that piano refrain, and I haven't put that in any other instruments, although I could do easily by copying and pasting it into other tracks with different instruments, and I've concerned myself with drum beats. Now, over in this section here, I've looked at the chords from the verse and also the ostinato. This phased clav is quite close to the ostinato in the original Prince song. And I've copied that over here. You can see there's another version of that in this instrument here, using a synth sound, so all of a sudden it gets a sort of strange techno kind of sound to it. And then there's also the chords for that particular section. So I've got the chords simply off a website where I found the chords or worked them out myself, and then played here with a guitar sound. Here I've arpeggiated them, and again you can see that I've used different guitar sounds there, so I've created some guitar-y ones. Here's an electric guitar, and look, you can see that I've copied and pasted the exact same thing from the electric guitar into a choir sound here to create quite a different sound. Very aha, I think we're still in the 80s. And then, yes, some more sort of techno-y sounds, some pads and things like that to create electronic sounds, so good for dance music and things like that. But again, just copied and pasted, and the instruments changed, and occasionally a few variations as well, like arpeggiating the chords or recording them. But you can see that once I've done the essential chord pattern and a few drum beats, I can very quickly create lots of variations in lots of different styles. And of course the students can create variations to these as well. They can change the instruments themselves after they've got these loops by double clicking on the instruments, changing things like tempo as well. So the next process, once I've made all of these loops, is to add them into the loop library. So how do you do that? Well, let's go back to one of my kits. Here's my pop kit that we listened to before, and we're just going to click on it, and then we're going to go to the edit menu and down to add to loop library. Now this brings up a dialog box, and because we've made them in GarageBand, it's going to already have got various things about this correct. For instance, it knows that the scale is minor, which isn't really very useful anyway with a unpitched drum kit part at the moment, but it's very good if it was some of the chords, because it would enable GarageBand to transpose the loop correctly later on. I can give it a name, and typically I give them all the first prefix. So for all of the When Doves Cry loops I call WDC, and then whatever I wanted the name of the loop to be. So for instance, pop kit number 2, and then I can just check that it's in the correct section, which it already is because I've made it in GarageBand. It's under kits, and I can go through and change these mood descriptors and genre if I want to, just to make it easier for students to highlight them. But if I've given them all a prefix here, the same prefix, they'll be able to find all of the loops that I've made for a particular song really easily anyway. And once I'm happy with that, I click create. That gets added into my loop library very quickly, and then I simply click on the next one and go through exactly the same process for the next one as well. You can see here it's showing me in the loop library there that it's been added. So that's basically the process for creating loops. So the last trick that we need to learn here now is how to take the loops that you've made on your computer and share them with your students so that they can remix with them themselves. So to do this, we're going to go to the Finder, and now what we're going to have to do is actually bury quite deeply into the file structure to find out where those loops have gone. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the Home folder, so it'll have a little picture of a house and then your username. It won't have my username on your computer. And once you've gone to your Home folder, you go to Library. Inside Library you need to go to Audio. Inside Audio you go to Apple Loops. Inside Apple Loops you go to User Loops, and then inside there finally you go to Single Files. And you can see there that's the loop that I've just made. Notice that even though it's a software instrument, GarageBand has very cleverly saved it as an AIF file, so it can be imported into any program with the full audio of the track still embedded. It's quite a clever situation. So if you've created a bunch of loops, they would all be here now. You can zip them up into a file and share that file with your students over your school Ethernet or whatever it is. And there you go. That's how easy it is to make your own folders of loops for students to do projects that are based on the repertoire that you're already studying in class.